Since President Trump took office, he's been plagued by dismal approval ratings, but he recently learned that you can become exponentially more popular by simply just bombing another country. So we saw how this move emboldened Trump. He used what we call the mother of all bombs, which is the largest non-nuclear missile in Afghanistan, and now he is putting us this close to war with North Korea. So NBC News explains the US is prepared to launch a preemptive strike with conventional weapons against North Korea should officials become convinced that North Korea is about to follow through with a nuclear weapons test, multiple senior US intelligence officials told NBC News. North Korea has warned that a big event is near, and US officials say signs point to a nuclear test that could come as early as this weekend. The intelligence officials told NBC News that the US has positioned 2 destroyers capable of shooting Tomahawk cruise missiles in the region, one just 300 miles from the North Korean nuclear test site. American heavy bombers are also positioned in Guam to attack North Korea should it be necessary, and earlier this week, the Pentagon announced that the USS Carl Vinson Aircraft Carrier Group was being diverted to the area. The U.S. strike could include missiles and bombs, cyber and special operations on the ground. The danger of such an attack by the U.S. is that it could provoke the volatile and unpredictable North Korean regime to launch its own blistering attack on its southern neighbor. The U.S. is aware that simply preparing an attack, even if it will only be launched if there is an imminent North Korean action, increases the danger of provoking a large conflict, multiple sources told NBC News. The threat of a preemptive strike comes on the same day the U.S. announced the use of its MOAB, or Mother of All Bombs, in Afghanistan, attacking underground facilities, and on the heels of U.S. missile strikes on a Syrian airbase last week, a strike that took place while President Trump was meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping at Mar-a-Lago. Implementation of the preemptive U.S. plans, according to multiple U.S. officials, depends centrally on consent of the South Korean government. The sources stress that Seoul has got to be persuaded that action is worth the risk, as there is universal concern that any military move might provoke a North Korean attack, even a conventional attack across the demilitarized zone. The Trump administration, emboldened by their punishing strike on Syria and by a successful meeting with the Chinese leader, hopes that the Chinese will use their considerable leverage to dissuade Kim Jong-un and his government from moving ahead with their nuclear program. So understand what he is doing here. He is provoking a madman, Kim Jong-un. One madman is provoking another, and he is threatening Kim Jong-un. And when Trump took a U.S. military vessel and diverted it to an area close to North Korea, well, Kim Jong-un threatened war with the U.S. Now, I'm not too concerned with North Korea and what they do because Kim Jong-un talks a lot of game. He talks a lot. He's never followed through with any of his threats. However, he is so unhinged and deranged that I do worry about the people in South Korea. I worry about the people in Seoul. If he launched a nuclear weapon, would he reach the United States? Probably not. Do they have the capabilities to reach Japan? I don't know. But could he reach Seoul? Yeah, they could fire a weapon into Seoul, into South Korea, and it would be absolutely devastating. So Donald Trump is egging on a madman, and he's threatening military action, when Kim Jong-un said that there will be war if he sees any more provocation. So Donald Trump is doing this just to act tough. He's emboldened by, this recent strike in Syria, and he wants to invade a country that didn't attack us again. Now look, am I okay with Kim Jong-un doing these nuclear weapons tests? Am I okay with the proliferation of nuclear weapons? Absolutely not. I think that we need to move away from nuclear weapons. All of us need to unilaterally disarm around the world. Russia, the United States, India, Pakistan. We all need to disarm and get rid of our stockpiles of nuclear weapons. So I don't approve of Kim Jong-un doing this. But Kim Jong-un, we have no grounds to invade that country unless they actually attacked us. So by him testing a weapon, do I absolutely denounce that and disagree with that? Absolutely. But I don't want a war with another country. We never make matters better. And look, what they're going to do is talk about the humanitarian issue. Look, if you're against invading Korea, when you see that they have people in basically what is tantamount to concentration camps, well, you must be a bad person. But really what they fail to realize is that if we invade North Korea, if we bomb North Korea, more people will die from that war than they're dying now, potentially, in concentration camps. The North Korean government, they have no leverage, they have no power. They're only existing today, and they haven't collapsed because they're being propped up by the Chinese government. So what you need to do is work out a diplomatic solution with China. Have China deal with it and make it their issue. But instead, Donald Trump is choosing to take matters into his own hands because you can get incredibly popular. Your approval rating could potentially soar if you bomb countries. This is where we're at. And as long as the media and both political parties continue to cheer him on as he just wreaks havoc on the world and destabilizes the entire international sphere, it's going to be incredibly scary to see what's going to unfold over the course of the next couple of years. This guy is as deranged and unhinged as we anticipated that he would be. The problem is just that the people who were claiming this, Democrats, are now supporting his war efforts. We need to say it loudly. We need to say it clearly. No more wars. The American people does not consent to another war. We don't want our tax dollars to fund another war. We don't want a war with Korea. We're in the Middle East in as much states as I think we've ever been in. I mean, what? We're droning Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, Libya, Syria, and we're just outright bombing them now. We are currently occupying Iraq and Afghanistan. How many wars do we have to start? How many foreign policy blunders do we have to have until our leaders wake up?
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.